Haribo, Dan. Haribo, Yvette. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Okay, where are you now?
I'm in New York. We're heading to India on Saturday.
Oh, you haven't come in yet. Okay.
No, yeah,
I thought you were with Kastuba in Mayapur. Okay.
no, we're coming a little later.
Okay, we'll
So
see you here, okay?
yeah, looking forward to it.
Brother Sundari, I want to see you. Possible?
Yes. Hare
I
Krishna
want you to
Maharaj.
say, I want you to say hello to Sadeshri.
Okay. Hare
Hare
Bo.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Nice
So
to
nice,
see you.
so
She
nice to
met your
meet you.
husband.
Maharaj is keep telling me if you were here, we would be great friends. So I'm looking forward to see
Oh,
you soon. You
oh,
have
I hope
such
to
a
meet you.
wonderful husband.
Oh, he's no reflection of me, I assure you.
I am sure you're such a wonderful person. Maharaj told me million times.
Mainly all I told her about you're good for tea time to joke.
Oh,
What?
thank you. That's a good compliment.
Okay,
Hare
okay.
Bo.
Sorry to embarrass you, brother.
No, don't get embarrassed.
Okay.
Good to see you, Maharaj.
Okay, half the people on the Sanga today are not here because they're all traveling someplace. No, no, there must be another cup there. Just take any cup. Is there any? There's no cups there? Okay, here, do this. Here. This is Maha water. Pour this out into a cup. Okay. What we're going to do now today is a little different. I'm starting a regular class on CC here, Caitanya-caritāmṛta. So I'm just going to continue that class and you'll go in. Because it's been this month of retreats. I don't even remember what I was teaching you. And I couldn't find it. So let's do something like that. Okay, this is reading. This is where we're up to. 1 second, I got to do this. Haribo, what happened here? Okay, I know. 1 second. Okay, that's good. Reading from the Caitanya-caritāmṛta Antya-līlā. Okay, you can put it here in the corner. It's very hot. I need it. Too hot? Yeah. Verse 3 and 4. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Śrī Rūpa Sanātana Bhaṭṭa Raghunātha Śrī Jīva gopāla-bhaṭṭa dāsa-raghunātha haite gurura karoṅ yāhā haite vighna-nāśa abhīṣṭa-pūraṇa. I pray to the lotus feet of the six Gosvāmīs, Śrī Rūpa, Sanātana, Bhaṭṭa Raghunātha, Śrī Jīva, gopāla-bhaṭṭa, and dāsa-raghunātha, so that all impediments to my writing this literature will be annihilated and my real desire be fulfilled. Purport: if one wants to benefit the entire world, he will certainly find persons like hogs and pigs who put forward many impediments. This is natural, but if a devotee seeks shelter at the lotus feet of the six Gosvāmīs, The merciful Gosvāmīs will certainly give the Lord's servant to all protection. It is not astonishing that impediments are placed before those who are spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Nevertheless, if we adhere to the lotus feet of the six Gosvāmī and pray for their mercy, all impediments will be annihilated, and all the transcendental devotional desire to serve the Lord will be fulfilled. Om Vighna-nāśa Ganandhana Shalakaya Taksur Unmulatam Yena Tasmai Śrī Gurave Namaha Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta Stapitam Yena Bhūtale Śrī Rūpa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Yeah, you gotta mute your phone. Whoever that is. So, wow, what a retreat. I learned sometimes I learned in public speaking, when you're a little clouded and have nothing to say, you go with that realization. So I'll explain that first, and that will kind of get me into some mood. It's been awesome retreat. And we had gone for quite a while because we went for Puri, and then we went Vrindavan, and we went here. And arguably the best kirtans I've ever experienced, arguably. And the thing is, it's not just me, but it was everyone. Because a lot of times, kirtan, if your mind is not there, when is it going to end? And, that's the whole idea. Vishyacharya kabe shude habe man kabe hame he rabosh. When your mind is peaceful and you're free from the ego and selfish desire, then you see Vrindavan, then you experience spiritual life. So a lot of times you enter, right? And if you're not concentrated, there's no potency, there's no effect from it. I describe like a magnifying glass on a piece of paper. If you keep on turning it this way and turning that way, even though there's some heat that comes through, it doesn't do the job. And it's the same thing with bhakti. So to have a group of 15, 20 people of really diverse backgrounds, really diverse ages, from Kana to, I don't want to mention anybody because then they'll feel I'm pointing them out as the oldest, but from different countries, like my retreat in Puri, you have the Ukrainians and the Russians, and some retreats you have the Israelis and the Iranians, of so many different backgrounds. To have them all chewing the holy name like they're drinking an ambrosial beverage that's the tastiest tandai. You ever have tandai? The tastiest drink you ever had, but you never become satiated. In fact, the enjoyment increases. To have that type of experience for 20 people in the same room, it didn't matter who it is. So, and yesterday, I didn't go on all the parikrams, but I went yesterday, and I went to a place nearby that I never went to before. And it's not very far, which is the kind of parikrama I like. Yeah, come on in. Yes. Mrs. Worker here, he's good. Come in. They'll come, yes. Oh, okay. Very good. See, tomorrow, okay? Okay. Where else do you get a servant for a whole month? For $80? So we went to this place, and when I arrived, it's like an obscure kind of village, but it has a nice temple of Narayan. And it's near the place where Krishna had the special rasa dance in Govardhan, with just the Radharani's camp. And when Radharani left, the gopis went to look for Radharani, something like that. And Krishna played a joke on them, and he manifests as Narayan. So they don't think Krishna is God, they think Narayan is God. So they pass Narayan, and they, oh my God, pay obeisances, and then they go. So Krishna was having this joke, but when Radharani came by, he couldn't keep the arms out. His form, Swayam Bhagavan, as Radharani's lover. So it's a temple. And we went there, and then still the purity of Braj, untouched. You just see by the smile on those Brajvasis' faces, as Leela Vilasini was giving her animated talk on the story and then speaking to them in Hindi, the purity of people that haven't been contaminated by this material world. You can imagine what it was like years ago, the simplicity of them. Sarala, simplicity of heart, the devotion they have, it's so natural. And we went into the temple and we did kirtan, and the Vajari was so excited, the Brajbasis there was so excited. And then it was covered because of the winter. So the Vajari said, if you do kirtan, I'll take off the cloth and show you the whole deity's form. So we did kirtan, and then all of a sudden the crowd splits like the splitting of the Red Sea. And who comes in? Chitra Vichitra. What a name. Chitra Vichitra. Whoa. Because Chitra means like art, right? Chitra Vichitra, something. And he comes in, and I didn't know who he was, but he's like the most famous, he lives in Vrindavan, he's the most famous Braj, singer. And the three of them get in, the followers come in, and I don't know what you call it, where one goes off on like verses of the story and like incredible Pavarotti voice, operatic, And then the next one goes off, and then the local guy, yeah, come on, yeah, please. Yeah, move up a little, she'll come sit. And then the local guy comes, and then after that, we were outside with all the Brajbasis, and it was just like entering into Braj. The joking mood of the Brajbasis, it was wild. It was wild. The great Acharya's appearance day. So it was great. Then we come back, and then in the evening we have class, and no class. I'd be the Chandkazi to stop the kirtans we were having.
You never did it.
What?
This time you never.
What?
This time you never stopped.
Sati was so cooperative, she was looking back. No, I couldn't stop. The kirtans were just so good, and that's the goal. So why, reach the goal. So, see, this is what I do. I'm explaining to people here, my technique is when I'm not prepared to class, I talk about not being prepared and why. So it gives me a little entrance into the spontaneity. But now I feel I'm really inspired by these words. Yāhā haite vighna-nāśa abhīṣṭa-pūraṇa. Echai gosai kori caraṇa bedan. Yāhā haite vighna-nāśa abhīṣṭa-pūraṇa. Tandara charana seva bhakti sanivas janame janame hoy abhilas 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 Tandara charana seva abhilas. One time, Prabhupada was in his room and they would lock the front door towards the last days, not towards, but you could only get in through the back, through his garden. So Bibi Govinda Swami saw a Krishnadas Babaji trying to get in the front. He said to go around the back, so he went on the back. So he wanted to see what was happening. And he looked in and he saw Krishnadas Babaji sitting on Prabhupada's bed, laughing and joking and laughing and joking. And you can imagine the problem with ISKCON in the early days is Prabhupada was the only adult, right? He was the only adult. So that was not only a problem for managing the movement, the pressure on Prabhupada, but he didn't have any friends. You can't always be with your kids. It's a different mood. You need to be with your friends. So Prabhupada was laughing and joking and laughing and joking. And then Bibi Govinda Swami heard Prabhupada say, Tandara charana seva bhakti sanivas janame janme hoy abhilas. Life after life, let me be with the Vaishnavas. And that's what some of the people here were appreciating sometimes, being isolated, coming with the Vaishnavas, and not just joking, but sharing their lives interspersed with humor. Sharing, and it's just so healthy for people. It's so healthy psychologically, physically, everywhere. This is science. It's just healthy. So anyway, I wanted to say this abhīṣṭa-pūraṇa, but this is what happens. It's many things I was describing, but there's a lot of impossibilities coming up. And when there's something you need to achieve that's beyond your own power to get it, the only way to achieve it is to be given it by someone who has it by mercy. In other words, the only way you can, and that's why bhakti is the path of grace. Because it's the path of grace, because you get more than you can achieve by your own effort. That's why it's called the path of grace. This is clearly presented in the Yoga Sutras when it discusses the verse, Ishvara pranidhanva, or you can worship God. And all the commentators say, and this is the reason why most yogis, and yoga is a psychosomatic, it's just a mechanical process. You steady the mind, the thoughts quell, and the mind morphs to a higher level of perception and contentment. You can use any object, but one of the reasons they want to use the object of mantra, which is none different than God, is because it has the factor of grace. And if you actually studied the path of yoga, you understand that to achieve perfection in yoga is mechanically impossible. Even the level of samadhi is something like 126 minutes without any other thought coming into the mind. And then you get to the first level of samadhi, where you steady the mind, but then you have to steady the mind without conception of an object. And then it's prakriti. There's 7 stages of samadhi. The level of concentration of mind, it's just impossible. But the commentators, all 6 commentators say, by his will, by his grace, you can achieve. By his grace, you can achieve. So it's the same thing with what's happening here, entering both, Lord Chaitanya entering into the Antya-līlā and having to realize the internal reason for his descent, which is these incredible feelings of Srimati Radharani. So he's entering into Puri, but at the same time he's entering to Puri in terms of this Shastra. We're also entering into the Antya-līlā. Lord Chaitanya is entering into it, we're entering into it, and it just requires grace. Grace requires mercy, and mercy is only felt and attracted by humility. And I give an analogy, a spoiled child can never feel love. A humble child can feel love with a simple thing. So in bhakti, the grace is to feel love. You can't feel it. And not only that, you have to be a complete vessel for Krishna to empower you and to enable you. And the thing is also, it's also for the speaker. It's also for Krishna's Kaviraj. It's also for us. We can't speak it. He can't speak it. So how does he begin? He begins the same way. Interesting enough, I feel empowered here. He's beginning the same way that I began, by his absolute lack of qualification to do it, but his faith that he can because of mercy. And Bhava Bhakti, this is called Asha Bandha. Your hope can't be bound. Why can't your hope be bound? Why can't your hope be bound? To attain Krishna is an impossibility. It's God. If you think, I describe this, if you think I can earn God, it's not God. It's not cheap that we can pay for God by our practice or something. So we are hopeless to actually achieve God. But the hope is that because God is so great, one of his qualities is mercy. So our hope is, still we can achieve by God's mercy. So he says, and he ends that, he begins with this kind of faith. Even a lame man can cross mountains, a lame man crossing mountains. A dumb man recites Vedic literature. By who? By the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then you feel his bhav, he has this faith. And along with this is the story of Krishna's Kaviraj writing this. He's in his 90s. If you look at the symptoms of his old age, it's like he's almost got Parkinson's disease. His hands are shaking, he's going blind. He's calculating all this in his head. I needed that. He's calculating it in his head. It's just an impossibility, but he's doing it. He's at the finish line. Well, he's not right. He's just beginning the Antya-līlā. And again, as I mentioned, the first chapter of the madhya-lila is one verse for every pastime, because he's doubtful he can complete it. He's doubtful. And then in some of the purports in that Madhya-lila 1, Prabhupada's relating to it, because he has rheumatism and this and that, and he doesn't know he's going to finish. So what does Prabhupada do? He jumps to the 10th canto and writes the Krishna book, because he doesn't think he will be able to get to these pastimes, because he's already old when he's beginning it. So he gives the Krishna book first, and the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu first. He gives it first, because he doesn't want anybody else to give these things. The whole movement will be ruined. He wants to give it in his way. So, and he talks about his own path, that he's actually going blind. So and I know because before I was going my cataracts, I actually was going a bit blind.
Oh,
What?
wow.
I didn't know, I thought it was my glasses. I mean, I could still see, but it was so much strain. I couldn't see signs in the distance and, and so you can imagine, you're kind of, it's not you go completely blind, but it's become strain, it's more difficult to see. And his feet are slipping again and again. See, it's, and there is, may the saints help me to stay up, to do this by the stick of their mercy. So again, what's happening is he's in this humble mood, which enables one to attract mercy and understand things properly. So, and then he just begins to pray. It's like the Bhagavatamrita. Sanatana Goswami has this impossible task to explain the highest subject to the world, and he can't figure out how to do it. And what does he do? He begins to pray. Pray, pray, pray. And who does he pray to? He prays to everyone. He even prays to Prem Bhakti. He prays, he prays, he prays, he prays. And that humility, you become an instrument. And what is he praying for? Vighna-nāśa, destruction of the obstacles, abhīṣṭa, and the fulfillment of the desires. I forgot what verse comes next, but I'm kind of excited what it will be. Yes. Jayatam surato pangor, mamanda matirgati, matsarva svapadam bojo, radha madana mohino. Glory to the all-merciful Radha and Madan Mohan. I am lame and ill-advised, yet they are my directors, and their lotus feet are everything. Jayatam, glory, Surato, the most merciful, right? Or Surata, or attached in conjugal love. Glories to those attached in conjugal love. To who? Pango, one who is lame. Manda mati. Matir is the consciousness, the mind. Sri Krishna bhakti rasa bhavato mati. But the mati is Manda Mohan's feet are gati. They're my refuge. And sarva swa, they're everything. They're everything to me. So total humility. Divyad vidaranya kalpa drumada, Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanasto, Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo, Prashtalibi Sevyamano Smarami. In a temple of jewels in Vrindavan, underneath a desire tree, Sri Radha Govinda, served by their most confidential associates, sit upon an effulgent throne. I offer my humble obeisances unto them. So now he's worshiping all the deities of Vrindavan, because he's in Vrindavan. He's writing this. So it must have been so beautiful. It wasn't like Loy Bazaar. It was just these temples and land in between. You could visit all the temples. But somehow, as we found out yesterday, most of Braj is untouched. Most of it is untouched. You go to these villages, Srimad Rasa Rasarambi Vamsi Bhatata Tastita Karshan Venu Sunai Gopir Gopinata Striyestunaha. Srila Gopinath, who originated the transcendental mellow of the rasa dance, stands on the shore at Vamsivat and attracts the attention of the cowherd damsels with the sound of his celebrated flute. May they all confer upon us their benediction. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda. So this is it. He's lame, he's ill-advised. It's possible if I get mercy. Vighna-nāśa, abhīṣṭa-pūraṇa, it's possible. Praise to the six Gosvāmīs. This is typical. Any chapter, it's what is it called? Mangala-charana, but there's something else. Nadeshtu vastu, indicating the direction. It's always that. There's Guru, Gauranga, and Krishna. And the Vaishnavas, he's just praying and praying and praying. I always made a point, I think Bhaṭṭa Hari really liked this point too somehow, is that when we chant, we cannot create Krishna with our lips. We can only attract Krishna. We can only attract God. This factor of empowerment is so important. All glories to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Acharya, all glories to the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Madhya-lila Saṅkṣepete Karlan Varnana Antya-līlā Varnana Kichu Suni Bhaktigan. I've briefly described the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu known as Madhya-lila. Now I shall attempt to describe something about his later pastimes, which are known as Antya-līlā. Madhya-lila, Madhya, Antya-līlā Sutragan, Puve Grante, Saṅkṣepete Karyachiva. I briefly described the Antya-līlā with a description of Madhya-lila. This is what he did. He didn't think he'd finish. It's okay, boom. This verse, this verse, this verse, this verse, this verse. Amijara grasta nikate jane marana antya koni lila karyache varnana. I am now almost an invalid because of old age, and I know that at any moment I may die. Therefore, I've already described some portions of the Antya-līlā. Now, Prabhupada, this is another level. Prabhupada has the same thing. He may not finish this. Even as Krishna-das Kaviraj does finish it, Prabhupada doesn't know well he'll finish it. So he says, following in the footsteps of Srila Krishna-das Kaviraj Goswami, I'm trying to translate Srimad Bhagavatam as quickly as possible. However, knowing myself to be an old man and almost an invalid because of rheumatism, I've already translated the essence of all literature, the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, as a summary study in English. I started the Krishna consciousness movement at the age of 70. Now I am 78, and so my death is imminent. I am trying to finish the translation of Srimad Bhagavatam as soon as possible. But before finishing it, I've given my readers the book Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that if I die before finishing the whole task, they may enjoy this book, which is the essence of the Bhagavatam. Atta sagas visagas cha statir poshanam utaya Ishakanta manvatara narodho muktir asaya. There are 10 subject matters, but it's explained in the 2nd canto, the 9th chapter, that the 9 subject matters are meant to understand the 10th. So the whole Bhagavatam is elevating your consciousness and elevating your intelligence so that you will have the proper understanding of the 10th canto. You have to have some bhakti first, because then when you hear it, you'll understand this is bhakti. If you don't have that, some devotion, you'll see it as mundane. But if you're excited about devotion, which comes from Utrasagras, it comes from the different subject matters and studying and practicing devotion, then when you hear that 10th canto, you already have this impetus for bhakti. So the bhakti element will strike you before your intellect comes and start analyzing it. So you have to have that impetus of bhakti first, and you have to have your intelligence purified. Because if intelligence is purified, you'll tend to pervert the understanding in certain historical, mythological, sociological, allegorical ways. So Prabhupada said, no, I have to give the 10th canto first. That's the goal. And I'll give the other things by which they can proceed. Purva likita granta sutra anusare ye nahilika tarilike vistare. According with the synopsis previously written, I shall describe in detail whatever I have not mentioned. So I'm going back to the synopsis, what was presented systematically. The synopsis was presented. Now I'm going to expand it. And now it is. Vrindavana hoite prabhu nalicha oila Sarup Gosani Goda Varta Patila. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri from Vrindavan, why? Some people ask why. Why did he ever leave Vrindavan? He had the visa. Why did he ever leave Vrindavan? Some people in my trip, they had a short visa, they had to go back. And why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left? He didn't have my visa problem. Śrī Rūpa immediately sent news of the Lord's arrival to devotees in Bengal. So we're experiencing that, and hopefully we'll experience the same thing every year. Hopefully we'll all come back. And so there's something very wonderful of reunion with Vaishnavas and the wonderfully loving exchange. So we had a little taste of it, right? So we can imagine on that level, when the Vaishnavas meet every year with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Haridas Thakur's there and Ramananda Roy and the Arisan devotees are there, and then the devotees of Bengal come. And India was so constructed, it was a rural economy. So rainy season meant 4 months where no one worked. America, you get a lousy 2-week vacation, what is it? When no one worked for 4 months, and they would go to Bengal, and the kirtans they would have, they're almost as good as our kirtans. So imagine the news that Śrī Damodar sends news back. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's returned from Vrindavan, the devotees can come. And I went on Padayatra, and it's such a way of traveling. When you walk, you're so healthy, and when you're walking, all you can do is chant. And then maybe, you stop someplace and they cook. It's such a purifying. And because when you walk to someplace, when you travel by plane, the destination you get is physiologically completely different. You're dealing with different water, different air, different people, different food, it takes 72 hours to adjust. When you walk, it's always the same environment, and you're healthy. Yeah, I'm right now it's, people know me. Monday I'm usually useless because Sunday I travel, I do a program. Monday I can do absolutely nothing. We all have our different, I don't do well traveling, I don't like traveling. And most of my work is sattva. And it's like, you're traveling and, eat a program and you come back, it's very difficult because if your program is mostly chanting and writing and reading, you're not sattva, so what do you do? There's a little struggle. So right now we were going at breakneck, ecstatic speed. And now the plug is pulled out. So I don't even know what I'm saying, therefore. Suni Sachi Anandita Sabha Bhaktigan Sabe Mile Nilachale Karagam. Upon hearing this news, Mother Sachi and all the devotees of Navadip were very joyful, and they all departed together for Nilachala Jagannath Puri. And I remember there was one devotee, he's still there in Mayapur, very advanced, named, I think it was Radha Duty. He's famous during the floods. He was cooking every day with the water up to his waist. And when we'd leave a village, when we would leave a village, and that's why this tune stuck in my head, he would chant and walk, and when a person chants, like he could chant forever. There's absolutely no passion in his voice, and he would do this tune. In the morning, as you leave the village and the sun's rising, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You can imagine they're mridanga players and okay, so for today, we're going to end a little early. We need to get some really downtime, get good rest, so that at 7 o'clock, we'll leave on a half a parikram, just to get that. It's just magical. The people that stay out here, they know that parikram gives blessings that you can't imagine any place. Walking around Govardhan. And in fact, this morning, before many of the devotees left, about 8 of them, they did a full parikram. You didn't go, no. A full parikram. Tota, Lal, Kana, Rati. It was open to everyone. It's just, and they went around at 4:30 in the morning. They were back in 4.5 hours.
About 5 hours, yeah.
What?
4.5, yeah.
Yeah, they were back in 4.5 hours. That's pretty good.
Yeah, very fast.
Very fast. What?
Very fast.
Very fast. So, okay, Jamuna Jaya wrote me. She was the star of the show. I mean, I know Jamuna Pavani just looks at her and smiles and watches those moves, right? Is there anyone with the enthusiasm of Jamuna Jaya? It's like another level, right? The joy of each of her moves, it's amazing.
Pure joy.
It's pure joy for sure, pure joy. Okay, oh wow, we didn't. Most of the people Well, I have some people here. Okay, Gail.
Hi, Krishna
You get,
Maharaj.
okay, you get to ask some question or something.
Yeah, yeah, it is true. Jamuna, she is the personification of joy, every
Yeah.
part of her body. Yeah, just one question, Maharaj. It always got my attention whenever I hear that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said, "I'm invalid and ill-advised." So, if you hear he's ill-advised, you think, well, who's giving him the bad advice? So, what does that really mean?
Okay, Gail, let's go to that verse. Okay. Well, the Sanskrit is manda mati. It means my mind is very lazy. And the translation says foolish. And somehow the translators say ill-advised. So ill-advised means that I'm not being guided properly. I'm not doing the right thing. It's self-imposed.
Mm-hmm.
So you, as an editor, could write them that this is the wrong translation.
So basically,
No,
he said his own mind is giving him bad advice.
yes, yes. He's ill-advised.
Okay. Thanks, Maharaj.
Okay. I think, thank you, and we'll see. It's great. Can't wait to see Dan and Yvette in India soon, right? How long is your tour, Yvette?
Hi, Maharaj. We're leaving on the coming back the 19th. So we'll have 4 full days in Vrindavan with you.
In Vrindavan I'm in Govardhan, so you'll be in Vrindavan, Govardhan.
Well, with Govardhan and Vrindavan, yeah, for 4
Where are
days.
you going? Where are you going before that?
Mayapur.
Oh, that's right. You will go to Mayapur. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 Haribo. Ishwari Sundari, you want to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, nice to see you. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, but your thing is, let me 1 second. Yeah, I see you. You're driving to work?
Yeah, I'm about to get into the tunnel, so I might lose you in a second, but I just wanted to say hello. Missing you guys. I just got back from Mayapur. I'm trying to do this India tour of visiting all the holy places, and then next year I'll be back with you on the pilgrimage.
You got back from where?
Mayapur.
You were in Mayapur?
Yeah, I went to Mayapur. It was a last minute decision. I went with Raghunātha and Kaustubha, and I don't know, Maharaj, it's so hard to come back. I'm like stuck in between 2 worlds now.
Wow.
Yeah,
Had a nice time?
I had an amazing time. I had an amazing time. I've just wanting to get to know all the holy places and spending it in the association of so many people. Haribol, everybody. I'll be with you guys next year. Haribol.
Okay.
Yeah, real wonderful time. This is so enriching, all these trips. Yeah, so, and next year I'll be back with you in Govardhan and Vrindavan, God willing.
Okay. We'll see when you get back. Okay.
Haribol.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to say hello? Okay, we will end.
Krishna Maharaj, this is Krishnamrita. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear about this wonderful retreat and great impressions and bhava and kirtans. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, I'm exhausted. Everyone's exhausted, so we will end a little early today. And I will make a tremendous comeback tomorrow after I go around Govardhan.